people will sacrifice their prosperity, their livelihood, their well-being, their family, their freedom, and even their lives for two things, actually. For a modicum of intimacy, or the illusion of intimacy, and in order to protect what they perceive as immutable values. This is axiological defense, so to speak. So people will do anything. They would die for these things. And the thing is that we have two types of politics. We have charismatic politics and we have institutional, bureaucratic politics. And the history of the world is a battle between charismatic leaders and with their charismatic politics and institutions with their bureaucracies, with their impersonal kind of procedures and forms, management, and so on and so forth. And people perceive bureaucracies as heartless, even as merciless, definitely as impersonal. There's no intimacy with a bureaucracy, whereas there is fake intimacy with a charismatic leader. This is at the heart of the celebrity culture, this fake intimacy. People crave intimacy. They want to be seen. They want to participate in various kinds of processes, including historical processes. They want to conceive of themselves as agents of change. They want to make a difference. This imbues their lives with meaning. And unfortunately, modern polities, which are essentially bureaucratic, Weberian politics, don't give you that. They don't give you that. There's this wall of regulations and rules and directives and forms that you have to fill in. And then the machinery, because it's a machinery. The machinery chews you and spits you out. And you're processed like so much raw material. It's very objectifying. Bureaucracies are very objectifying. And people want to avoid this dehumanization. The only way to do that is to destroy, undermine, and challenge the institutions in a rebellious and defiant way, and via the agency of a charismatic leaders. So world history is a pendulum between charismatic politics and institutional politics, and people gain a modicum of faux intimacy, fake integration, a fake sense of being apprehended or being seen by someone when they adhere to a charismatic leader. And this is exactly the essence of cults and a personality cult. And so today we live in a period where there is this battle between charismatic politicians and institutions. And what happens is, when the system delivers, when the system improves prosperity, enhances well-being, delivers outcomes, when the system is efficacious and efficient, when the system is there for you, however impersonally, when everything is smooth-lined and streamlined and so on, this creates resentment and hatred. This is a great irony in human history. People resent, people hate systems that work for them, because these systems are not personal enough. In these systems, they feel unseen. It's a form of grandiosity, actually. Whereas people prefer charismatic systems of governance, which are usually very inefficient and inefficacious and very self-destructive and lead nowhere within a short to medium term. And so it seems that people truly choose self-sacrifice just in order to experience acceptance in an in-group, just to have this sensation of belonging and of being seen. And so this is where we are today. And the second axis, the second issue, is values, the defense of cherished values against competing values. If we look at the history of the United States, there is this constant tension between liberal, progressive values and conservative traditional values, religious values. And this tension has led to one civil war in the 1860s and another one, which seems to be imminent, because the United States is an artificial creation and has attempted to do the impossible, to integrate conflicting value systems within a culture that is riven and shredded and fragmented by these internal dissonances. This is not going to work. It's not going to work, and the United States constantly oscillates between institutional politics and charismatic politics. And charismatic leaders in the United States take the country, usually in wrong, self-defeating, self-destructive directions, and this is remedied by a period of institutional conformity and governance. And so this is where we are today, where people rebel against faceless, heartless, merciless, exacting, demanding institutions, regardless of what these institutions deliver, which is great outcomes. And they rebel against institutions because these institutions embody and reify values which they reject and which they perceive as threatening. On the one hand, these institutions dehumanize and objectify people within vast, machine-like bureaucracies, which are inexorable and which grind on regardless of human idiosyncrasies and even human suffering. And we're never going to resolve this, because if we want to deliver good, efficacious, efficient outcomes, we need to do it on a vast scale, and this requires the sacrifice of the individual. And if we don't care about outcomes, if all we care about is community, a communal sense, and in-group versus out-group, and values, and so on and so forth, then we need to compromise and we need to sacrifice and we need to minimize our expectations as to the possible consequences and outcomes of such chaotic, fuzzy systems of governance led by charismatic leaders within personality cults. We are doomed to choose between tyrannical bureaucracies and charismatic ideological leaders. And there's no middle ground, and no solution has come forward to somehow reconcile these two. And as long as these are the only two ways of governing ourselves that we came up with, we're pretty doomed. Hence, anarchy and various isms, attempts to square the circle of the human soul, the human psyche. Because on the one hand, we crave a father figure, we crave the intimacy of a group, and on the other hand, we have expectations. We want to be the recipients of healthcare and education and other services and so on. These two don't go together.